When did you first hear about illegal downloading?
More than, I think it was like about year 10 or 11 when people had LimeWire and stuff, and when Metallica tried to sue Napster.
I see. Can you remember when you first illegally downloaded music?
Yeah, probably about year 11 again.
Okay.
I didn't have LimeWire and everyone told me to get it, so I got LimeWire and I downloaded stuff for days.
Why do you illegally download music?
Because it's a cheap and easy, cheap, it's free. It's a free way of getting new music, and it's just if you want to hear something and you can't really afford it, you don't work, you're in school, you haven't got a job, parents won't lend you money, then how are you meant to listen to new music? So that's pretty why.
How were you introduced to illegal downloading?
Kind of just friends at school, all bought CDs, and I never had the money to do it. So someone said, "Oh, why don't you download it?" And I'm never really good with stuff like computer stuff, so I just kind of put it off, and then someone was like, "Oh, I'll show you, it's really easy." So.
Okay. From an individual point of view, how do you feel about illegally downloading music?
I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where, as the person downloading, you're getting what you want. You're getting music for free, you're listening to music for free, but different points of view have different things. I mean, you can feel bad about doing it if it's like brand new, or say it's not been released yet, but it's one of those things that everybody does. So.
Okay. Do you understand what illegal downloading is doing to the music industry?
Yes. More than some.
Will you continue to download music illegally?
Honestly, I haven't illegally downloaded in ages, because being a musician, it's opened my eyes to how bad legally downloading music can be. But it's one of those things where I wouldn't say I'd never do it again, because I probably will. Because it's one of those things where everybody will do it eventually, because it's so accessible and it's so easy.
Okay. What do you think can be done about illegal downloading?
I really don't think there can be a lot done, because the internet's so broad and it's so big that you'll find out a way to stop it somehow, and then someone 2 days later will find out another way to do it. Or you can close down as many websites as you want, but they're opening up all over the place fast, and you can shut them down. And as long as people have the music in the first place, they can put it on there for download. Anyone can do it.
Yeah. Okay. From a musician's point of view, how do you feel about legal downloading?
There's two sides to it, really. There's the side of you're a new musician, you've just recorded your first CD, you're not very well known, you're local, and you just want as many people as possible to hear your music. So you'll put it on YouTube, you'll put it on MySpace or Facebook, and you'll add the download option there. But that's out of your own choice, because you just want as many people to hear it as possible. But then I can see the bigger that you get, when you selling CDs and selling music and writing music becomes your career, it becomes your only form of income, I can imagine that that's quite difficult, because to know that people getting their hands on your music for free, it's like you're thinking, wow, that could have bought the album, that could have been a tenner. So
do you mind people illegally downloading your music?
Me personally, at this stage of my musical career, I just want as many people to hear it as possible, and if they download it, they download it. If they buy it, then more for me. But like I said, at this stage in a musical career, if people download it and it gets downloaded and they listen to it, then they've listened to it. That's one person that's heard about my music. So then from there on, hopefully I can record other things, keep it a bit more tight-lipped, not put it up for download myself, and hopefully cut the numbers. But because they've heard something in the first place and they got it for free, they might be more inclined to buy it in the future.
Okay. What do you think will happen to the music industry if illegal downloading continues?
I think it's just gonna. Record labels, for one, are gonna struggle. They already are. There's labels buying out labels to like cut out bankruptcy. There's labels disappearing. Independent labels are just kind of disappearing all over the place. And it's just a case of, if people keep downloading, the market won't be there for music anymore. You've got CD shops like HMV closing down months after opening because they just haven't got the sales. So,
do you think it's possible to stop illegal downloading completely?
no. Simply, it's just too. Like I said, the internet is too big a thing. One person can't stop the internet. If it's not being illegally downloaded, it's being illegally shared between other people. Downloading itself, you can block downloading programs. You can block things like BitTorrent and LimeWire, like Napster and things like that. But things like music can still be distributed for free. When people can send songs over MSN or email attachments and stuff, it's too easy to transfer music between two people.
Do you think, from a musician's point of view, it's more beneficial for you to sell a whole CD or separate tracks?
From a musician's point of view, I'd rather them buy a whole album.
Do you think you'd make more money from people buying a whole album or just buying single tracks?
It depends. If I release a 11-track album and they all go up for like 50p a track, I would make more money if one person bought the album than if one person bought 3 or 4 tracks. But it's on the average of, maybe on my album I've got 5 songs which a lot of people like, so loads of people buy that one song.
Yeah.
And then some might buy the whole album, just kind of wishy-washy and kind of not bother. It's one of those things where I'd rather like 100 people buy one song than 20 people buy an album, if that makes sense.
Okay. Do you think people illegally download music because they don't have the money to pay for it?
Yeah, simply. I think it is one of those things. It's something that's come in now between younger people. The younger people from school, like 10, 11, don't have a job, kind of do a bit of paper round or something. That just doesn't. The way the music industry is, because so many people are illegally downloading, CDs are being sold at higher prices. And now, because the prices of CDs are going up, more and more people can't afford it. So it's a case of, I know I did it when I was a kid. If I couldn't afford to buy a CD, I'd download it. So I think it is a case of people can't afford to have that hard copy in there.
Do you think laziness comes into it? Do you think people they almost can't be bothered to go out to somewhere like HMV or something like that to actually buy the CD? Or?
Yeah, I guess that's another thing that contributes to it. Because downloading's so accessible, you can do it from your bed. You can lie there on your laptop and you can download hundreds of songs. You can download album after album at a time. When you know in your head, if I was buying this, it could be costing so much money. But if it's that accessible, why are people going to leave the house? I mean, you can still buy from HMV online and Amazon, Play.com, but it's still a case of you're paying for it, you're waiting for it. It's that wait as well. It's that waiting for the music. If you want to listen to something, you want to listen to it. If you order it online from HMV, you've got to wait a couple of days for it to be delivered, or an order to be processed. Or even if you go into like town or something, you might have other things you want to spend your money on. So I think it is really easy to do from the comfort of your own home. It's something that I know I've done in the past. So.
Do you think CD sales are the main source of income, or are musicians making money in other areas such as merchandise, adverts?
I think a lot of the money does come from CD sales, because there's other outlining costs. There's still that cost of you need to produce the merchandise, and someone, if you can't afford to do that, a record label need to fund that, so they're going to take their money back from that. I know bands that I've spoken to in the past, they don't make money from their merchandise, they don't make money from their advertising, it is solely on their touring and selling CDs. I mean, bands I've gone to see that have sold CDs at merch tables and things like that, people aren't buying the CDs because they downloaded it 3 days before because they knew they were going to see someone new. So.
Okay, and lastly, do you think musicians still have expectations of extremely high income compared to 30 years ago?
If it goes on the way it is, then you've got to be exceptionally good. You've got to be hitting that stadium mentality. You've got to be playing those festivals that are going to put the money in your direction. But the question is, if you play those festivals and you play those stadiums, how much of that money do you see, and how much of that goes into the organisation of the festival you just played, or the troubling a record label putting you into that position? So I think it's a case again of, with CD sales, it's a thing that people can, like bands can relate to. They can say, look, we've sold this number of CDs, we've got this much money. It's with gigs and things like that, you never know what you're going to get, and I don't know, I don't think bands can really expect, local bands, smaller bands can't expect to go, we're going to get signed to a record label, we're going to get given $1 million or pounds or something, and they're going to go and tour, because it doesn't work like that. A lot of hard work's needed as well, and if you're willing to put in hard work over years and years, then maybe who's saying they can't make the big money? It's just whether it's there to be made at the time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.